This week there was much harumphing from Brussels about what its role is going to be in the Brexit negotiations. The European Commission announced this week it was setting up an Article 50 task force to carry out the Brexit negotiations. It will be led by Michel Barnier, its chief negotiator, and plans to be ready to begin work on October the 1st. He'll be working closely with Guy Verhofstadt, who has been proposed as the European Parliament's chief negotiator. Now, both are quite controversial appointments, as they have been long reviled by British politicians. Mr. Verhofstadt is an arch Eurofederalist, while Mr. Barnier has been described as the scourge of the City of London. These appointments show how difficult it's going to be to carry out these negotiations. It's not just that Barnier and Verhofstadt represent deep-set suspicions in the UK about Brussels. The EU is also going to have to work out between its various factions how to cope with Britain leaving. Ultimately, it's going to be the member states, not the institutions, that are likely to have the last say on Brexit. Britain's latest unemployment figures suggested that the labour market has not been affected by the Brexit vote. Employment rate has hit 74.5%. Now, as with last week's data on manufacturing and services, this confirms that the initial shock to the UK economy has been minimal and confidence is in good shape. Now, many economists believe it is too soon, though, to talk of a Brexit bounce, as Britain's EU relationship has not yet changed. But this data undoubtedly strengthens the hand of politicians campaigning for hard Brexit, as they can argue that Britain is still prospering. The Brexit Secretary David Davis admitted that Britain could leave the EU without a trade deal. Mr. Davis told the Foreign Affairs Select Committee this week that Britain may end up reverting to World Trade Organization rules if no deal was struck. This could prove ruinous for British industry, with a 10% tariff slapped on exports to the EU for cars and much higher for manufacturers. It is unlikely that the government would want this to happen, and hard Brexit supporters have argued that Brussels needs Britain just as much as Britain needs them, so a deal will ultimately come together. We can only hope, though, they are right.
This year, the UK must borrow £131 billion in order to repay its old debts and meet the day-to-day costs of running the country. This is a massive jump since 10 years ago. It does this by selling government bonds, or gilts.